I think this is pretty cool anyway. Check it out. So, if you're a video game fanatic, you grew up in the 80s or the 90s, then you know of Mario Brothers. So on the original NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, when you've got here in America, you've got the raccoon suit, and he flaps his little tail and he flies away, flies. As it turns out, man, originally, no, it is not a raccoon. It is a yokai, a Japanese spirit, and it is called a tanuki. Alright? Now, you know how flaps the little tail and flies away? Again, no. See, originally it wasn't his tail that he flapped and flew away. Get your mind out of the gutters. He wasn't flopping nothing else to fly like that. Okay, so maybe he was, because it was his sack, man. Like, his sack would stretch out, and that would be how he flew. And see, it wasn't only originally it wasn't only the statue that it transforms into, which the statue that it transforms into is actually a Buddha type statue. I can't remember exactly if it's a Buddhist spirit or if it is like one of the forms of Buddha. The Bodhisattva, I think they come, but it was a statue that was actually implemented to guide the spirits of lost children and lost souls and stuff like that. I do believe I may be just a tiny bit incorrect on that one, but if memory is serving proper, then no, I'm not. I'm actually pretty well right on that one. But see, it wasn't the Buddhist statue that, you know, it turned into originally, and one of the villains was supposed to be like some kind of a seductive woman or something, but it got changed. I'm not sure about all of it, but the points that I took away from it was obviously, if you know me, some of the fucked up points, but check it out. The tanuki itself, and I'm not here for a whole yokai lesson, but for the tanuki, let's look at this. Okay, so for the lure of the yokai itself, it was a shapeshifter. It could shapeshift and turn into another animal, or it could turn into another yokai, or it could turn into a statue. It could do that, or it could, as Mrs. Eats, which is where I learned all of this. If you guys haven't heard of her, she is a Japanese, and like she translates fucking tattoos and shit that Americans get, and I'm telling you right now, I'm glad I know what mine means. But she tells the story on it, and I'm going to tell what I can remember of it, and if you're any more interested, then Mrs. Eats. EATMRSEATS. Mrs. Eats. And she's got videos with her husband. They enlighten you pretty well on the whole Japanese culture, a crossover with American culture, because I believe her husband is American, but it's pretty cool for the culture shock that both of them go through, and they let you in on through their videos. But for this one, check it out. So back to the yokai himself. He, as she said, could transform into a beautiful woman, and right whenever the deed's about to be done, poof, transforms back into a yokai, back into a Tanaki, and he reveals his balls, apparently. Wow, that's pretty dead on for present day, ain't it? Holy fucking hell and Christ on a pogo stick. But the piping for the game itself, as it goes through the underground sewers and tunnels and all of that. Matsumoto, I think his name was. Hiro Matsumoto, the creator of it. After the war and everything, the pipes that they used were like stockpiled all over. They called them Dogon. And he based the game off of that because the Dogon became their playgrounds, and for a lot of them after the war, they became their homes. And they would live in these, they would fashion them into makeshift homes and everything, and apparently they were effective. But kids would play on them as playgrounds. They became their jungle gyms, again, as she said. But for a lot of people, they don't really understand, like, here in America, things get changed. Whenever it goes from, like, we'll stick with Japanese because I know a decent little deal about Japanese culture, and it's interesting to me. And their yokai, their myths, their urban legends, I looked into them, and I gotta say, the creepiest one, it wouldn't be the slit mouth girl, it wouldn't be Taki Taki, and it wouldn't even be that one weird ring crawling bitch. For me, it'd be the one that offers you, I think it's red or green or blue toilet paper. But no matter what, if you're using a public toilet and it appears you get a choice of one color or the other, and both of them apparently lead to your demise. And that's the creepiest one for me. I mean, I don't use public toilets anyway. I might use a urinal, but I'm not going cheek to seat on no public toilets. I don't give a good goddamn what you say you do with your cleaning routine. It ain't mine. So, nope, not doing that. Anyway, back to the video game. It's a good game. It really is. But the game itself was basically a callback to childhood, I think. When everything was fucked up for them in Japan. And it served as a reminder and just as something to escape, just like the Dogons were. And a lot of people, I think, if they took interest in other cultures, other video games, and I'm not saying to sit there and make your entire life about it. I'm not saying to abandon your home. It, like, figuratively, if you want to leave your home and go to these places, have fun. But I'm telling you right now, Hollywood is some lying motherfuckers. I'm telling you. If you want to go over there because you see something on Hollywood, it ain't worth the risk, man. It's all a lie. Because if you look into the places yourself, you'll be able to learn these things. And there are ways to learn, like, for instance, a raccoon using his tail to fly is really a spirit using his scrote to soar. And like I said, I think that's pretty funny, and I think that's pretty cool.